I actually don't like podcasts. I love making it, though.
It's a fun process. Create media for other people to enjoy, but not necessarily for you to be masturbatory too.
Oh, no. I don't listen to my own podcast
Never.
all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not vain at all.
No. Well, I mean, look at me. Like,
I'm a giver.
I'm not vain at all. Yeah.
I don't like attention.
No, I do this for religious reasons.
Okay, let's do it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Drinks on Me, the podcast about the kind of things people in their 20s and 30s need to talk about over a drink with a super cool person who is me and my guests. My guest this evening is the beautiful Blacc Cherry. Cherry is a drag queen and a lawyer.
Yeah.
Aspiring to work in entertainment law. I assume you don't sleep ever.
Yeah, no, it's just a variety of naps throughout the day. Yeah.
Like narcolepsy. I was doing my research. You described your drag aesthetic as inspired by 90s R&B and hip-hop, early 2000 glamour, thinking Carrie Bradshaw, with a bit of theatrical showgirl pizzazz. Does that still feel right?
Where did you read that?
Some interview with a site called Thodacy.
Oh, yeah. I have shortened that, and I say that my drag is really inspired by working women, whether they're working in a corner office or the corner of the street. I'm either dressed like a boss or like a hooker. I don't know which one I am today.
It looks like you're a girl on a date right now. To the baseball game. This is a first date. We've never met.
Yeah. But yeah, I love 90s R&B, the BET, early 2000s. That fashion really inspires the way that I like to dress and the type of hair that I like to wear.
Your drink of choice is a filthy tequila martini with blue cheese olives. Why is this your drink of choice?
A martini is so classic and classy, and I feel like those both describe me. The reason why I fell in love with this in particular is because I'm currently in a long-distance relationship with my boyfriend, and he loves martinis. One day I was out and I wanted to feel like I was with him, so I ordered a martini, but I don't like vodka, I don't like gin. And I was like, I feel like he's ordered this with tequila before. So I said, can I get a nasty, dirty martini, but with tequila? And the waitress looked at me and she was like, and everyone at the table with me was like, I'm sorry, like, no. And I said, no, make it, it'll be fine. Made it, came out, guzzled it down.
It's amazing.
It tastes good, right?
It's really good. The salt kind of works with
the salt. You ate with the salt.
Cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, this drink is also really good.
Thank you for introducing it.
You can always trust a cross-dresser.
What got you into drag?
I went to college at the University of Oklahoma, who has an unfortunate history, I guess by nature of being in Oklahoma, of people just constantly being problematic. The year before I started, there was some scandal with anti-LGBTQ rhetoric being spread. To fix the problem, the university does what it does and it threw money at it. They gave our LGBTQ Gender and Equality Center like a huge endowment, and they said you can use it however you want. They said, well, we're going to put on the biggest drag show in Oklahoma, which is not hard.
5 drag
Yeah, like
queens.
5 people. Yeah. They were like, we're bringing in someone from RuPaul's Drag Race. We're going to hire local talent. We want to feature student performers. They held an open call audition. Me and my 2 best friends in college, Jules and Plasma, who has now been on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Famous friends now. I'm only friends with famous people.
Oh, really?
I mean, I have no famous friends. One day I want to say that.
Oh, yeah. We're friends now.
Yeah, we're friends. We're both famous.
Super famous. You have a podcast and I have a wig.
We are 2 people just destined for the stars.
And so the 3 of us in our dorm room, we like went to Goodwill, raided the women's section, put these little looks together, and we filmed our auditions, sent them in the basement of our dorm at like midnight one night. Of the 3 of us, I was the only one who got cast in the show, not Plasma, and I'll never let her forget it. I kind of did it on and off in Oklahoma. It was very much just a weird. It was like a quirky,
So weird.
a quirky thing that I did for fun. Once I moved to New York to keep myself sane while I was in law school, I started competing in local drag competition. From there, it's just really blown up because people just want more.
Obviously, people want more. Yeah. What got you into law?
During my junior year, we had a pandemic. Being a arts major at the time, my plan was always to move to New York, start auditioning, get on Broadway, move on, become a star, be famous. Yes. COVID, the industry shut down. I watched like the seniors above us. Their plans were changing. They weren't moving to New York. They all became real estate agents.
All artists should be them.
You should not trust your real estate agent unless they had to take a tap class in college. Yes.
That's who I want to buy my houses from.
I decided I needed to come up with some kind of backup plan. And at the time I got involved with like arts advocacy in Oklahoma during the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement. Someone mentioned to me, oh, if you're so into this, maybe you might be interested in art law or entertainment law. law, look into it. If you take the LSAT, the first time you can cancel your score, and I had $200. I'll pay to take this test and see how it goes. It went really well. And so then I got into Columbia and moved to New York.
That's amazing. I'm glad you're a drag queen lawyer. Are you trying to go on Drag Race?
I would love to be on Drag Race. It's my favorite TV show. I remember helping her through the audition process and then watching her get on and being there to receive her when she got back, watching her perceive herself on TV and see the world fall in love with someone who I already love so dearly. It is something that I want for myself selfishly because I would love to be on reality TV in any capacity.
Honestly, me too.
It'd be
We're
so
weirdly
silly.
surfing the same wavelength. If you go on Drag Race, would you stay a lawyer?
I think I would. Part of the reason why I would want to go on Drag Race would be to show that drag queens possess multitudes, and especially in 2026, 2027, it is impractical to say, I'm just this one thing. Everyone has a side hustle. These days, you have to. I wrote a nice little paragraph. I ended it, FYI, if you cast me on the show, I'm going to win.
Do you feel like your manifesting has that kind of power?
I'm a pretty optimistic person.
What's that like?
I feel like I manifested my way into law school. Whenever I submitted all my law school applications, I was sitting down with my roommate at the time, straight man, who owned a bunny rabbit.
Are we sure he's straight? Or is he like killing that bunny rabbit?
The bunny rabbit actually did recently die. The bunny's name was Ted Bunny.
Hysterical, but too close.
I remember I sat down with him and he's like, how are you feeling? I said, I think that every school that offers me an interview, I'm going to get into. Anybody who thinks, let's at least talk to this person, the moment they meet me, it's going to be, I know maybe I'm coming across cocky. I'm just like very sure of myself. I just spent so much time being very, very insecure, being a queer person of color, growing up in like the South. My whole family dynamic is not super supportive of queer identity. I was growing up in this very conservative Catholic environment, constantly feeling like I had to pretend to be somebody else and feeling like I'm not doing a good job of playing that character. I don't know when it clicked that I didn't have to do that anymore, but from that moment on, I realized that people liked me better and I loved myself more whenever I was just being totally authentic and leaning into the things that I used to really hate about myself, like my little like gay voice or that I'm a bit of a sassy little character. And those are the things that are my superpower.
As you should. I'm not, by the way, I'm not an optimist.
You're not. You said so. Everything you just said, throw it in the trash.
I'm so not an optimist, but I do relate to that in some very different upbringings. I'm a Jew from the Upper East Side, but I was born deaf and I have cochlear implants. And my family, I loved them so much. They were always, you were perfect. You should think of yourself the highest way. Like you're not different, or you are different, but who cares? And I just could not get out of my own way. Just hated that about myself. And then eventually I make a lot of jokes about it and I'm like very upfront about it and I really like it about myself. It's who I am. The moment you lean into stuff like that, it does unlock your personality. I'm not saying I'm an optimist though. My personality is pessimist, but I unlocked that. Okay, Cherry, why did you need the drink?
Saturn's return.
I love this term. What is Saturn's return?
Saturn's return is 3 years. So you turn 27 and until you turn 30, you're in this transitional period that is the final forming of you into your most adult self. It is characterized by difficult challenges, new relationships, struggles in your day-to-day life.
The quarter life crisis.
It's very much quarter life crisis. Just turned 27 a couple weeks ago. And it almost felt like I woke up the next morning. Granted, all the stress in my life is totally self-imposed. I'm like, oh my gosh, my corporate job and my drag job. Well, who set the system up?
Who did this to me?
Why is this happening to me?
Who's so awful to me?
I am in a newer relationship, even though it's very well established and I love him dearly. But navigating this new part of our relationship of being long distance also feels like part of my Saturn's return. And my lawyer job is my first career. Figuring out how to do your taxes whenever you have corporate income as well as your side hustle income, because it's gotten to the point to where drag, I don't just get paid in dollar bills, I get checks. So,
do you ever get a wire? Is that when you really need it?
And they're like, can we just get your banking info?
What's your routing number? And you're like, it's done. I'm 28. 27's a hard year to turn. When I turned 27, I was on a Zoom for work. I was like, I'm having a really difficult time. And all of the people on it were like, I hated turning 27. And I've never worried about it really since 27. Just a hard age to turn at because you're late 20s.
I don't feel 27. I am just such an old soul. Even though I have like a lot of like childlike wonder, I have lots of whimsy.
Oozing whimsy.
Oozing whimsy. Physically, I'm like, I still feel like such a spring chicken. I guess if you average it out, then I am 27.
Are you missing your childhood? childhood?
Whoa. Whenever a friend texts me about boy problems or something like that, I'll try and like lighten the mood by responding. Don't you just long for the days where the biggest problem in the world was that you couldn't put your straw in the Capri Sun the right way?
And by the way, childhood encompasses college. What about that?
I miss the days where it felt like I had responsibility, but in actuality, I had none. I like being involved. I like knowing everyone. And the best way to do that is doing things like student council, student government. In college, I ended up being the student body president. And it felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. Then I look back, I guess I was in meetings with the president of the university, but then I would go get blackout drunk.
You didn't need to be storming around campus with your backpack.
Like a suit. Next thing you know, like I'm sitting around a Facebook event invite. Come to my big gay 21st birthday. It's going to be a rager. I do still possess the same amount of whimsy. I'm still sending partyful invites.
You don't want to be a loser.
I simply could never. But now there's this added weight. I do want to go out with you on Saturday night, and I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. But I might need to bring my work phone with me.
It's like quietly devastating.
Yeah.
Your problems are real. You said you feel like an adult. In my head, obviously I know more facts. I feel like in my head I'm 23 or 24. And then I was talking to my dad who's 60. I was like, do you feel 60? He was like, obviously I know more things, but I actually feel 25. The same things make me laugh. Your mind doesn't age the way you think it does.
That makes me excited for the future because since I turned 21, mentally I have been like a 30-year-old. My boyfriend says the same thing. My boyfriend's a little bit older than me. He's 60. And I'm just kidding. No.
I was like,
your face, you're like, whoa, but like you're maintaining a straight face. You're being a very good podcast host.
Okay, how old's your boyfriend?
No,
55.
He's about to turn 35. It feels like whenever we are hanging out together, it feels like we are the same age. That being said, I imagine that once I turn 30 and then continue to age after that, because I don't intend on stopping.
Please don't.
I imagine that I will mentally stay 30.
You'll find the same things funny. I think is probably how you market, right? Yeah. Like similar TV shows and similar books. Like, I mean, you'll obviously expand, but you're still you. What about Saturn's return in this phase of life are you liking?
I love being able to do stuff because I want to. Growing up, I had a helicopter mom. Now I really am finding myself in a place where it's like, well, I want my bedspread to be purple. So I'm gonna purple. So I'm gonna buy these purple sheets. Something as simple as like I want this for dinner, so I'm gonna go buy the stuff to make it. I don't need to consult with anybody. Just not really having to account for someone else or accommodate somebody else, which I'm very inclined to do to accommodate other people's needs, but to not have to do that by default anymore, especially as someone who like kind of lives two lives. There are some days where it's like, I just need everyone to be out of my way because I just finished a whole day at the office and now I need to come home and become a woman in 45 minutes and then keep going.
That's why you have narcolepsy.
Exactly. And so not needing to check in with anyone to be able to operate, like these are the choices I've made and so this is what I'm going to do. I find that very comforting.
What if you move in with your boyfriend? Are you going to be able to share your life again?
I'm a pretty fiercely independent person. And he knows that. Our plan is once he's back, he's going to move in with me and then we'll finish out my lease and then we will move into a larger space for us and his dog, Topher.
Topher like Christopher?
Topher like Christopher. It's not short for Christopher. His name is just Topher.
Okay.
It's a dog. Even once we move in together, he also lives a very independent life. I think that is why we work so well together. Whenever we want to do stuff together, it's very easy to make plans and spend that time and be dependent on one another. But at the same time, it's like, okay, so you're doing this, I'm doing that. Great. I'll see you later. Even now, being long distance, it's one of those things where it's like, we'll talk later, but I have to do this podcast. I'm going to be in drag all day today, or I'm going to be in the office for a really long time today. I'm not worried about losing that, even as I continue.
He knows you.
Like,
he's the right person for you.
100%.
When you entered this age, have you had any epiphanies where you were like, I'm spending my time wrong here? Any different habits or even bigger, like career-wise or people? Anytime you were like, this is over?
I think a lot of people, like whenever they turn 25, 26, 27, they go through that phase where they're like, I don't know. I feel like I always see people posting on their Instagram stories around that age where they're like, I'm done with people who
I hate that.
People who are not willing to invest their energy in me. I'm done investing in them. You've lost access to me, yada, yada, yada. I have just never operated in that capacity. I can never have enough friends. And it's not because I need a bajillion friends. It's just because I want a bajillion friends. I'm not a person that's very inclined to cut people off.
No, I was speaking about this with my therapist. I think that is people going to therapy and being like, I'm having a tough time with a friend. And their therapist being like, have you talked to them and set certain boundaries and like reoriented your thinking? And they leave therapy and they're like, I'm right. They're wrong. We're done.
It's like the boundary is that I blocked your number.
Like, not normal conversation. So yeah, I totally get that. I am not a person who you have to demote people who are bad just to they get a demotion. They're from manager to associate. Like that's just what happens sometimes.
Yes. Relationships are like rivers. They really ebb and flow. 1 month, you might talk to one of your friends like every single day because that's just the need that the two of you have. And then next month, maybe you only see them a couple times. It doesn't change the impact that you have on each other's lives. But to answer your question, I do think that I have recalibrated what I feel comfortable investing my energy into. I think that at the age of 27, I have finally stopped with my need to be involved in everything. It's enough to just be me and like to be a friend to the people I want to be a friend to be a good partner to my boyfriend, and to be a good drag queen to the people who come see me perform. That's probably more than most people are doing. I've really embraced saying no to things that are not a good use of my energy. And that is a big Saturn's return moment for me.
Were you saying yes to people please, or were you just wanting to fill your time?
I think maybe part of it was a desire to people please, but I just really like being busy. I tend to underestimate how busy I already am and overestimate my capability. What really inspired this was whenever I started dating my boyfriend. He was like, you're burning the candle at not just at both ends, at every end possible.
Yeah, that candle's getting nuked.
The candle's getting nuked. He was like, if we are going to be in this relationship, obviously I have certain expectations too, and I want to spend this time with you. I realized that in order to do that, I had to say no to certain things, and I didn't regret it at all. If anything, it felt really good. That being said, I will still say yes to a lot of things. Like I'm a yes man by default, a yes woman by default. But just realizing when it's too much and just having to say, unfortunately, diva, can't quite do that for you.
I really respect that. I never had the yes problem, but I can definitely do nothing. That is a forte. I'm sure someone listening might have that problem, just not me, but you're welcome.
We're like kind of diametrically opposed and yet cut from a similar cloth.
Yeah, the attention thing and the performance aspect. I've always wanted to write. That was my dream. But I kind of wanted to try acting and never get the balls until I was older and able to crawl out of my shell. And then I've never actually tried it. But I do like performing. Totally love talking to this. I love seeing myself on my little clips. Would love to be famous.
What do you think that is? I feel the same way. What is this urge to be famous?
Part of it for me is insecurity, and I want people to be like, oh my god, I didn't pay enough attention. There's definitely like a bitter insecure part, but the better part of me is like, it'd be really nice to talk to a lot of people about my work and have a lot of people read a book that I write, and like we're talking and they see that. It is a desire, I think, for connection in a certain way, which fame obviously leads to connection and so many friends and nothing big.
Nothing vain.
I don't think my desire to be super famous comes from completely a good place.
That's okay. I think most of the things that we want and desire, it can't all come from a good place. Everyone grow up. Be a little bit selfish. It's okay as long as you're not harming anybody.
Yeah, I'm not hurting anyone. It's just not good for me.
Yeah, no, it's like surprise. I turn myself into a woman like 3 nights a week because I really like that people tell me I'm good at it.
I love a compliment. Gas me up. Part of it's insecurity, but I think it is. I know it's cool to share. I read these books. I watch TV, and I'm like, I want to talk like this. Do you have hobbies?
I am a very active runner. I'm a 2-time marathoner.
I've done a marathon too. Why are we the same? Do the New York Marathon?
I did. I did it 2 years ago.
I did this past one.
Did you love it?
I hated it, and then it was an hour later, and I'm doing it again.
Walking around with that medal on. You want to talk about attention.
Seeing the signs, I loved it, and I hated it. I started uncontrollably giggling to myself around mile 22. I couldn't believe I gotten myself into such a stupid situation.
Yeah. New York was the second marathon I had run. Earlier that same year, I ran the LA Marathon for a bonkers reason. I was kind of dating a different Broadway dancer type. We had met on Tinder because he was in town. He was always in the Rockette Christmas Spectacular in the ensemble. So over the winter, we had connected and had a lot of really hot sex. But he lived full-time in LA. And he told me, he was like, well, if you're ever in LA for any reason, I would love to spend more time with you and get to know you better. I signed up for the LA Marathon because I thought that it would be a bit too bold to just say I bought a flight to LA only. Because I was trying to play it cool. I was like, well, I didn't just come to LA to see you.
Why didn't you fake a meeting?
You're so right. I totally could have said I'm coming to look at interviewing at firms in LA. Or I have friends who live in Los Angeles. I could have just said I'm visiting a friend from college. No. And I trained very seriously for it. I trained for months for this marathon just so that I could be in LA for 4 days and spend time with him. We go out the night before the marathon. He took me to the movies the night before the marathon. He drove me home and I said to him, well, like, this is my bib number. If you want to watch, I gave him the route. He was like, oh, like, pick you up after the race and then we can celebrate. And I was like, this guy is awesome. I'm so glad I did this. This is going to be such a fun little wedding story. Yeah. I woke up the next morning. I had to catch a shuttle bus to Dodger Stadium where the race started. Ran the whole race. By the time I finished, my phone was like about to die. My legs felt like wood. I made it to the little victory thing and they gave you a Heineken.
Did you drink the Heineken?
I did.
Okay. Strong.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there on this little grassy area drinking my Heineken. My phone is on 6%. He still hasn't texted me. So then I text him and I say, I just finished the race. Where are you? I'm hungry. He texts me back and he's like, oh my gosh, babe, like, what? You're already done? Yeah. I told you this is how fast I was planning on running it. And he said, wait, where did the race end? And I sent him my location. He's like, oh my gosh, I can't get to you because all the roads are shut down. That's it. And then my phone died.
Did you ever see him again?
I had to walk from where I was to the Apple store. Can I please charge my phone? I had to call an Uber to my Airbnb, but because the roads were still shut down because people were still running the race, I had to walk through a suburb until my Uber driver could finally find me. She drove me back. I'm fuming the whole time. I get back to my Airbnb. I get on Grindr. And then it was truly so serendipitous. This guy starts messaging me and he's like, I'm really into giving massages. I said, say less. I just ran a marathon. He came and he had oils and he gave me the fiercest massage. It was so good, so loose. And then we had sex.
Deep tissue?
Deep tissue.
Deep tissue in 2 ways?
In 2 ways. They both were deep tissue. And it was incredible. The next day, he texted me and he was like, sorry again about yesterday. Would love to hang out tonight to make it up to you. I texted him and I said, I never want to hear from you ever again. A couple months after that, he sent me a TikTok with someone making a cake. And then once the cake was done, it was a chocolate cake and on it in icing, it said, I miss your big dick. I responded, you haven't spoken to me in how many months and this is what you send? He drunk called me that night and begged me to come back to LA. I will buy your flight. I said, if you really feel that way, text me tomorrow whenever you're sober and then we'll set it up. Never texted me. Come to find out, he died.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Rip.
He didn't die like that day. I didn't hear from him because he's an asshole. I found out that he had passed away from my current boyfriend because they worked together. I was telling him this marathon story and he was like, this guy sounds crazy. Like, who was he? And I pulled up his Instagram. Didn't know he was dead yet. And I pulled up his Instagram and I was like, yeah, like this guy. And he goes, oh. And I was like, okay, don't switch the game up now. But now you're on his side. And he was like, it was so sweet, like blah, 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 blah.
You're like was?
I know. I was like, was. I was like, yeah, it was, because he's so out of the picture. And he's like, well, that and also the fact that like he died.
He's really out of the picture. He's in another picture or no picture at all, depending what you believe.
Yeah, depending on what you believe.
Back to Saturn's return. When Saturn's gone, 30, where do you hope you are?
At 30, I hope that I'm still healthy and happy, thriving. Materialistically, I want to be living in a gorgeous apartment on the Upper West Side with my lover. Pre-war. Yeah. 2 bedrooms. Blacc Cherry needs her own space. I would love to have like some kind of like outdoor area because I love to invite people to stuff. I really want to pivot out of Big Law into working in-house, working more directly in like the arts and entertainment space. I hope that I will have been on RuPaul's Drag Race, had a great time, won, toured the world. My dream is to be a Wendy Williams-esque character, having some kind of daytime talk show-esque situation where we explore the nuances between queer life and the legal profession. I kind of do that now on my Instagram I have this series called Black Letter Law where I break down legal concepts in nightlife in like 3 minutes. In theory, I am penthouse living, but in practice, we're living on the 3rd floor of a walk-up.
Only until Saturn goes away.
Only until Saturn goes away.
Okay, so I like to end on a hot seat.
Love.
What was your sexual awakening?
Simba in The Lion King, like teenage Simba.
He's hot.
That combined with Zac Efron, specifically in High School Musical 2, where he has that scene where he's showering.
My sexual awakening was the Lana Del Rey Born to Die video.
That's a good one.
She's in the car making out with this literal stick man. And I was like, I want to make out with men in cars.
Like stick men?
I don't anymore. I have a crush, but I think I just didn't know what was out there. At the time, I was like...
Yeah.
I was like, put me in some red Converse with a stick man.
Yeah, why not?
If you're dating someone who has multiple personality disorder, like distinct personalities, are you technically dating all of the personalities or just the one that is the main one that you know?
I've seen this on an episode of some TV show. The guy was like, no, I'm only dating this one of her personalities. And the other ones, her other personalities were like, yeah, no. Like
they haven't consented to the relationship.
They haven't consented to the relationship.
Where in the world, the entire world, is your favorite place to get a drink?
Dive 106 on the Upper West Side. I love that bar. They treat me so well. Maybe it's my favorite place to grab a drink because I drink there for free. But also, bartenders, they know what they're doing. They know their way around a cocktail. And you can also get a side of fried pickles.
Favorite means favorite. If it's free, it's free. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. Nice to meet you. It's weird that we're the same
sides of the same coin.
Yeah, surfing the wavelength.
They got rid of the penny and then they made our coin.